Hey y'all, welcome as we continue in the book of First Chronicles together. Today we're going to be moving into chapter 2 in the book of First Chronicles. Again, First Chronicles points us to the genealogy of Jesus by linking Jesus to the Old Testament key figures. Jesus' ministry was built on Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, David, Solomon, and the remaining kings thereafter. This chapter is a transition from the descendants of Abraham to the descendants of Israel, which was the name that God gave to Jacob. We'll go ahead and start in verse 1 together. The sons of Israel were Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Dan, Joseph, Benjamin, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. The 12 sons of Jacob, which make up the 12 tribes of Israel, are listed in these first two verses. They are linked first to Adam, then to Noah, then to Abraham, and now to Jacob as we continue moving forward. Before Jacob died, he gathered together his sons and he spoke prophetically over each and every single one of them. We'll continue in verse 3. Judah had 3 sons from Bathsheba, a Canaanite woman. Their names were Onan, and Shelah, but the Lord saw that the oldest son, was a wicked man, so he killed him. Later Judah had twin sons from Tamar, his widowed daughter-in-law. Their names were Perez and Zerah, so Judah had 5 sons in all. The sons of Perez were Hezron and Hamuel. The sons of Zerah were Zimri, Ethan, Heman, Calcol, and Darda, 5 in all. The son of Carmi, a descendant of Zimri, was Achan, who brought disaster on Israel by taking plunder that had been set apart for the Lord. The son of Ethan was Azariah. Since Reuben was the oldest, it would have made sense for him to be listed first in the expanded genealogical record. However, Judah is listed first here. Reuben had slept with his father's concubine Bilhah, which is recorded in Genesis chapter 35:22, and because of this, he lost his firstborn rights. Judah was actually the 4th born son, but his 3 older brothers all messed up, so he was given the firstborn rights in the lineage of the family instead. The chronicler, who is likely Ezra, went out of his way in these records to link generations together by naming parents. Parents played an important role, and the author is careful to emphasize them when describing the lineages of the nations that lead to David and his sons. Every name in these genealogical records, they all matter in the coming forth of God's plan, his eternal love plan for redemption for each and every one of us, and each name is noted with precision and care. Is one of the very first people listed in First Chronicles who is described as evil. As cool as it would be to have your name recorded eternally in the scriptures, I would not want it recorded in this way. Tamar was Jacob's daughter-in-law. She may have felt insignificant, especially in the time and culture that she lived, but her life carried an important part, leading us to Jesus, the son of David. She is recorded specifically in the lineage of Jesus himself. Where Satan tries to bring forth corruption and devastation, Jesus always redeems. It's up to us to take our hands off the wheel and let him lead us to his loving redemption for our lives. We'll go ahead and continue in verse 9. The sons of Hezron were Jerahmeel, Ram, and Caleb. Ram was the father of Aminadab, and Aminadab was the father of Nahshon, a leader of Judah. Nahshon was the father of Salmon. Salmon was the father of Boaz. Boaz was the father of Obed. Obed was the father of Jesse. Jesse's first son was Eliab. His second son was Abinadab. His third son was Shimeah. His fourth was Nathaniel. His fifth was Radai. His sixth was Ozem, and his seventh was David. Their sisters' names were Zeriah and Abigail. Zeriah had 3 sons named Abishai, Joab, and Asahel. Abigail married a man named Jether, an Ishmaelite, and they had a son named Amasa. The author moves forward to focus on Hezron next, which transitions us to the descendants of Ram. Even though Ram was listed as the second son of Hezron, God chose his family line to be the lineage of our Messiah. It's the second birth that leads us to the salvation that Jesus offers each and every one of us. It's through the blood of Jesus that we are cleansed and made new when we choose to repent and surrender to his authority and his will. It's through Jesus that we receive true life and restoration and redemption now and for all eternity. Our first birth gives us our life on this temporary earth, and our second birth gives us life for all eternity. Boaz is listed in verse 11 of these records. We meet this kinsman redeemer in the book of Ruth, which foreshadows our eternal kinsman redeemer, Jesus. We also see the sons of Jesse listed in these verses. For whatever reason, Elihu is completely left out of this list of sons. In all the other records, David is listed as the 8th son. 8 is the number of new beginnings, and David did bring the nation to fresh new beginnings. He also points us to Jesus, who gives us our eternal new beginning. We are not told why the chronicler left out Elihu out of this text, but he likely had his reasons at the time of writing this text. Some things that we are not told are not for us to know, and if God reveals it, that's up to God, not us. And with that, we'll continue in verse 18. Hezron's son Caleb had sons from his wife Azubah and from Jerioth. Her sons were named Jeshur, Shobab, and Ardan. After Azubah died, Caleb married Ephrathah, and they had a son named Hur. Hur was the father of Uri. Uri was the father of Bezalel. And when Hebron was 60 years old, he married Gilead's sister, the daughter of Machir. They had a son named Segub. Segub was the father of Jair, who ruled 23 towns in the land of Gilead. But Geshur and Aram captured the towns of Jair and also took Kenath and its 60 surrounding villages. All these were the descendants of Machir, the father of Gilead. Soon after Hezron died in the town of Caleb Ethrahah, his wife Abijah gave birth to a son named Ashur, the father of Tekoa. Next, we move forward to the lineage of Caleb. This is not the Caleb from the book of Joshua, but rather the Caleb from Genesis. Bezalel, mentioned here in verse 20, is the same Bezalel who was the craftsman listed in Exodus chapter 31. He was filled with the Spirit of God, and he oversaw the construction of the tabernacle. He was responsible for building the furnishings of the tabernacle, including the Ark of the Covenant. We'll continue in verse 25. The sons of Jerahmeel, who was the oldest son of Hezron, were Ram, the firstborn, Bunah, Oren, Ozem, and Ahijah. Jerahmeel had a second wife named Atara, and she was the mother of Onam. The sons of Ram, the oldest son of Jerahmeel, were Maaz, Jamin, and Akir. The sons of Onam were Shimei and Jada. The sons of Shimei were Nadab and Abishur. The sons of Abishur and his wife Abihail were Aban and Malid. The sons of Nadab were Seled and Apiam. Seled died without children, but Apiam had a son named Ishi. The son of Ishi was Sheshan, and Sheshan had a descendant named Ali. The sons of Jada, Shimei's brother, were Jether and Jonathan. Jether died without children, but Jonathan had 2 sons named Peleth and Zaza. These were all the descendants of Jerahmeel. Sheshan had no sons, though he did have daughters. He also had an Egyptian servant named Jarrah. Sheshan gave one of his daughters to be the wife of Jarrah, and they had a son named Attai. Attai was the father of Nathan. Nathan was the father of Zabed. Zabed was the father of Iflal. Iflal was the father of Obed. Obed was the father of Jehu. Jehu was the father of Azariah. Azariah was the father of Helez. Helez was the father of Elisha. Elisha was the father of Sismai. Sismai was the father of Shallum. Shallum was the father of Jechemiah. Jechemiah was the father of Elishama. The lineage of Jerahmeel here is not listed anywhere else in the Old Testament. The Jerahmeelites were not listed specifically in the listings of the son of David, Jesus, but they were included here. So we can see that there is a bigger picture that God is putting together in the entire lineage that the nation will bring forth Jesus. The entire nation is the vessel that God is using to bring forth our Messiah. And he carefully notes every single person involved, every living link that had a part in the plan coming forth. We'll continue in verse 42. The descendants of Caleb, the brothers of Jerahmeel, included Mesha, the firstborn, who became the father of Ziph. Caleb's descendants also included the sons of Mareshah, the father of Hebron. The sons of Hebron were Korah, Tappuah, Rakem, and Shema. Shema was the father of Raham, Raham the father of Jorkim. Rakem was the father of Shimei. The son of Shimei was Moan. Moan was the father of Bethzur. Caleb's concubine Ephah gave birth to Haran, Moza, and Gazez. Haran was the father of Gazez. The sons of Jadi were Regem, Jotham, Geshan, Palet, Ephah, and Shapha. Another of Caleb's concubines, Maacah, gave birth to Shebir in Tirahana. She also gave birth to Shaaph, the father of Manahath, and Shiva, the father of Machbenah, and Gibeah. Caleb also had a daughter named Aksa. These were all the descendants of Caleb. These verses circle back to a second group of Caleb's descendants. Caleb's daughter, Aksa. She was mentioned in Judges chapter 1, verses 12 through 23. She is the daughter who had the faith to ask for more. Othniel won her hand in marriage, and he was also the very first of the judges who arose up to be the lead of the nation of Israel during the very dark period of the judges. He was the very first judge assigned to lead Israel during that dark time. And we'll continue on in verse 50. The sons of Hir, the oldest son of Caleb's wife Ephrathah, were Shabal, the founder of Kiriath Jearim, Salma, the founder of Bethlehem, and Haraph, the founder of Beth Gader. The descendants of Shabal, the founder of Kiriath Jearim, were Hariah, half the Mathanites, and the families of Kiriath Jearim, the Ithrites, Puthites, Shumites, and Mishrites, from whom came the people of Zorah and Eshtaol. The descendants of Salma were the people of Bethlehem, the Nethophites, the Athroth Beth Joab, and the other half of the Mahathanites, the Zorites, and the families of the scribes living at Jabez, the Tirathites, the Shimeites, and the Sukkothites. All these were Kenites, who descended from Hamath, the father of the family of Rechab. And that brings us back to the scribes. Even the scribes are given special notation in these verses. They were not included in the lineage of the son of David, Jesus, but they played a vital role in pointing others to Jesus. Throughout this chapter, we see people contributing with different roles and different talents and different skills that God raises within them, and it all points to the big picture, the eternal loving redemption plan that is coming forth through our Almighty Father's hand of direction. He is bringing us Jesus, our Messiah, and Jesus came to earth for us. These lists of living links include parents and sisters and scribes and architects and more. Every name in these lists play an important part within the nation to lead our world to Jesus. We all desperately need Jesus. Regardless of the role that God calls us to, we are called to point people to Jesus. Romans 12:11 directs us to not lack diligence, to be fervent in spirit, and to serve the Lord with all of our guts. Diligence means being wholeheartedly dedicated to a task. Being fervent means being passionate about serving the Lord and blessing others without overlooking anyone. We need to serve the Lord with everything in us. We are to serve others with passion, without stopping, and with everything that God pours through us as we continue to walk forward in and through Jesus. We do it all for the mission and commission that is given to us straight from Jesus himself, to reach others for Jesus, to disciple others for Jesus, to point people to Jesus. Jesus wants his kingdom huge, and he truly does not want to lose a single soul. Our minutes on this earth matter. We are here for purpose, and I don't want to waste any minutes in my life. I don't want any of us to just float through life. We are called to serve. We are created to be completely sold out and head over heels in love with Jesus. We are called to radiate Jesus, not to reflect ourselves. There are no mirrors in heaven. We need to be intentional about shutting off the selfie mode every single day and radiate Jesus instead. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about Jesus and saving souls for eternity. Nothing in this world matters more than that. We need to stay laser focused, laser locked on Jesus, and passionately serve him with all of our guts every single day with every last exhale. The minutes he gives us on this earth matter. He put us here for a plan and a purpose. We are vital. We are important. God created us for such a time as this. We need to glorify his great name every single day and give him every yes. Give him every yes. Surrender to his will every single day. He will bring us to glorious things that will glorify him and bring goodness into our lives as well. He is a good father, and he really does want good things in our lives. He allows things to happen to grow us, to grow our faith, to trust him more, so we cling to him tighter. His grip on us is tighter than ours ever will be on him, and he wants our grip on him to grow. He wants our faith to grow. He wants us to mature in him. He wants a relationship with us. He wants us to fall more and more in love with him every single day and point everyone around us to him as well. Thanks, y'all. I hope you're having a glorious day in the Lord.